Buckle up because this is Musicians and Beyond, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, lyrics, and long journeys of the music industry. Last episode, we had Lorraine Lewis, and what a hoot she is. For those that know 80s and 90s music, she was a lead singer of Vixen as well as Femme Fatale, and she's 67 years old and rocking it like a 20-year-old. So go back to our last episode and check out Lorraine Lewis on Musicians and Beyond, and it will definitely keep you entertained. And speaking of entertained, we have a great entertainer with us today. He's making a big name for himself. Today we have Chris Shelby. Chris, welcome.
Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, it's our pleasure. We've been trying to get this in the works for quite a while, and we finally did it. Yeah. I was reading up on how you got into this, and it totally blows me away of the transition of how you got into music, really. I mean, you were going to karaoke bars with your friends, and then you said, you know what, just might as well try the guitar. And a year later, you had a
absolutely. It mainly started with, so my family, I grew up in a family of musicians. I was always the jock, this guys who, I played hockey. I was always focused on hockey, so I never really took the turn into becoming a musician. So I was always growing up around it, so which I think, obviously helped me a lot. But my uncles and my aunt, they have karaoke setups in all their vacation homes. And so every single time we'd go there, we would do karaoke. And, you always have those go-to songs that you sing in karaoke, and it just turned into, hey, I think I could probably learn how to play these on guitar. And so then it turned into, playing the guitar and singing at the same time, which is much different from karaoke. And I learned that real quick, but I grabbed a hold of it really quick, and it kind of took off from there.
Nice. What was your go-to song for karaoke?
At the time, I was always singing Benny and the Jets by Elton John.
Yeah.
My always go-to song is Vienna by Billy Joel, because it's Billy Joel, and you can't go wrong with Vienna. So if you're going to put karaoke on right now and we're singing, it's probably going to be Vienna by Billy Joel. But.
Cool. One of our previous guests, Liberty DeVito, is the drummer for Billy Joel, was the drummer for 30 years, and he was one of our previous guests, and he had some pretty good stories to tell us about Billy Joel. Yeah. But a truly iconic, classic musician.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. So, you were the catch of the week with the Cruiser, and she described your voice as, let's see what she said here, whiskey seasoned and leather worn. And that really hits the nail on the head. But you also can change up your voice to a real smooth, melodic type of thing.
I think that really derives from, you listen to all this type of music, growing up, and different genres of music. And I think a big inspiration to my songwriting and just to music I always listen to would definitely be, like a Waylon Jennings or a Jamie Johnson or a Chris Stapleton, where you get that smoother, the smoother vocals, but you can really get in and hit deep with the vocals as well. So I think, when I started writing music and really getting into songwriting, that's where I started to steer as far as vocals go. And then it started expressing itself,
right.
When I sang.
And did you do that because of that you liked the sound of it, or because you were feeling
that's just natural.
Feelings?
Yeah, that's natural.
Because when you sing, it, really emanates that.
I don't try to sound like anything. I mean, what comes out when I write music or when I sing is just pure from inside my soul. It's like not, I'm not pushing anything to sound like that. Sometimes I actually have to hold back a little bit when I get into my higher range. I get raspy, and sometimes too much rasp is not what you want. So sometimes I have to hold back a little bit and tame it out, and it helps. But
what's really cool is it's your own sound. Like, I listen to you and I can't say, oh, he sounds like one person. You sound like your own.
Thank you.
Your
That's
own
a huge
person,
compliment.
which is great. because there are a lot of people who wants to be like someone else. There already one of those people exists. So.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've talked to many people in the industry, and they always say that when people are always trying to be the next Morgan Wallen or the next Chris Stapleton, or they want to be what's mainstream. And unfortunately, the reason why, well, it's not unfortunate, but the reason why those people are mainstream is because they were so unique. So the way to become mainstream is to be unique. And, I think you need to find yourself and find like what your sound is as a musician, as a singer-songwriter, as a writer in general as well. And hang on to that and don't try to be like anybody else, because at the end of the day, it fades away, and if you're super original and super unique, then you could be that next Morgan Wallen that everybody wants to sound like. So, and that goes for anything, I'm new into this industry, but if I could say something to someone who's just coming in, it's, be unique and be yourself, because, sounding like someone else only gets you so far.
Right. Was that something that you felt yourself, or was that advice that another musician gave you?
That's advice I've gotten, and it's also something that I felt, because, if that was the case, I'm just going to go do cover gigs. I'll go play cover gigs and bar gigs all my career, and I'd be happy with that. But I want someone to connect to my music and say, that's something different. That's something I haven't heard before. When you hear my voice anywhere, that's Chris Shelby. That's him singing. And I don't try to make it sound like that, but I make sure that I don't steer away from, my personal sound, which, helps me bring myself to center gravity and focus on my songwriting and the way I write my own music.
Right. Are you basically country, or do you like other genres too? I mean, I know you like other genres, but do you dabble in the others as well? Or are you
as far as like writing
and going out playing your originals and so forth?
Yeah. I'm super diverse with the genres of music that I personally listen to and that I like. When it comes down to writing, I had this discussion with somebody else the other day, and it's so hard for me to tell you what genre I am, because I'm not trying to be a genre. I like country music. Obviously, I'm in the country scene because of the style of music I'm playing and writing, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to write music from what I've listened to and how I write my music, and it ends up so happening to be in the country genre. It could be many different subgenres of that. But if you want to really go back, I'm really into like Southern rock and roll. I grew up with like listening to Aerosmith and super rock, and I think you might be able to see some of that in some of my songs where it gets rocky. So that's probably what I fall back on is rock. So many different subgenres of rock that you can listen to. So I'd say rock in general is probably what I would fall back on.
Right. Cool. That's an interesting story. So we just kind of started out, and, I'm interested in knowing, you're a New England-based musician, but you've played all over. Why do you think New England is not like Nashville, but there are so many good musicians like yourself that come out of New England? Why do you think that is?
I couldn't answer that question, honestly. But if I were to try to come up with an answer for that, it would. New England has its unique values. So New England, you have all the seasons that are up here. So you have all these different things that come into factor when you are writing songs or listening to music. For example, like Noah Kahan. His music is his music because he's from New England. Half his songs are about New England. Right. And so there's so many different things in New England that you can relate to as a songwriter and put into a perspective when you're writing music that you can't anywhere else. As far as like the leaves changing. I mean, obviously there's other states in other places that leaves change, but like New England is known for, it's fall where the leaves change. So there's so many different things, for example, like that you can write about and correlate to different ideas when you're writing. So if I were to say that's probably why, and just the people up here, the community up here in music is super tight. Everyone knows each other. Doesn't matter what genre you're in, everyone knows each other, and I'm very thankful for that because the community here has been nothing but welcoming for me when I started, and that's also a huge thing that helps other people strive in the music community in New England. So I think that's another reason.
Yeah, it's a very supportive community.
For sure.
And there's a lot of great venues to go out and play.
Absolutely.
There's hundreds of them. I mean,
crazy.
It is. Do you have a favorite one?
Oh, man.
Well, they were all your favorite because they may be watching, but
no.
What is one of your most favorite?
So I will say, there's venues that I liked playing. There's venues that I like the crowd, and then there's venues that are just have different vibes to them. Some venues are going to be really intimate. Some venues are going to be really loud and big and have a great energy. But I always fall back on Off the Rails in Worcester, and I say that because they have just done so much for me in my music career. Continue to do so much for me. I couldn't say anything bad about them. They have opened their arms for me and done astronomical things that not everybody has the opportunity to do. I've opened for many national acts at their venue. Their stage is absolutely unreal. I don't know if you've been there, but
I have not been there personally, but
you should definitely take a look.
Heard all about it.
Yeah, their stage there is unreal. The community there and the staff is just beyond joyful. They just always smiling. They're always in a good mood, and it's just one of those venues that you always look forward to playing at. Yeah. Or even just going to, never mind just playing at. But that's probably my favorite venue, and it goes beyond playing there. It's just the people, the atmosphere. I live in Worcester. It's in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh, nice and convenient for you. Get down the street.
So it's down the street. I'm always there. I'm always popping by, so they've done a lot for me. So I'd have to say that's probably my favorite place to play and just to be at.
Yeah, I've heard that from other musicians too, that they're very supportive. They actually want to see you succeed.
Absolutely. And to find that in this industry is very special because there are so many people out there playing music. There's so many people trying to do what everyone else is trying to do in this music industry. And for them to, see that and believe in you is huge because this industry is hard. It's tough. And if you can have people like that are there for you to give you exposure and to put your name out there for you, it's just, a blessing for sure.
Yeah, it's hard for an individual to, quote, make it in the music industry.
Correct.
To you, what is making it?
So making it is knowing that I can live off my music. And knowing that other people can relate and my music can help cope with people's lives. And even if I didn't quote unquote make it, and people let me know that my music helps them and they were able to connect with my music and really put them in a different headspace. That's making it. You know what I mean? You can talk about money. You can talk about, you can talk about wealth and money. You can talk about having dream homes, which is wealth and money. But, at the end of the day, all that matters is if you're making good music that people want to listen to. So I think that's making it.
What a special thing that must be to have someone be so touched by something that you wrote.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine, and he and I have known each other just through my old job, and so we're not really tight, but we're friends. We talk on the phone a bunch of times or text message or whatever. And he sent me a video the other day of him driving down the road listening to my song, and I was like, "Hey man, thanks for listening to my music." And he said, "Hey man, I don't think you understand that your music helps me. He goes, I'm going through a lot in my life right now, and putting your music on eases me and helps me get through whatever I'm dealing with. And, you know, I didn't ask what it was. All my songs are usually about breakups. So I can only guess what's going on in his life. Yeah. But to hear that from somebody, you know, you almost get a little emotional about it, because you're like,
oh, of course,
it's crazy. You know, I write this music because it's coming from me. It's coming from what I've going through. And the fact that it's helping someone else go through the same thing is very touching. And that's all you can really ask for as a songwriter.
Wow, that's probably the best compliment that you could
That's it.
get. That
Yeah.
you know,
for
really
sure.
touch. So we are with Chris Shelby, and we're going to have him play a song. He's going to play, and then he's going to tell us all about how he wrote that song, what the song was about, and what inspired him. So, Chris, what song would you like to play out of your extensive catalog?
I'll start it off with a song called "Tennessee Without Me." It's one of the first songs that I wrote, and it was the first song I ever had a music video to. So,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Shelby.
I've been lying around the house lately, trying to figure out where life may take me. All these dreams I had, oh, I hope they come true. My lady says she's breaking up with me. I watch her pack her bags and leave, and maybe this is what God's planned for me. I pick up my six string and wrote a tune, had me crying all damn afternoon. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be writing these love songs. Baby, please don't come back to me. I wanna write a few more songs beneath this big old tree, and I don't know where you're going. Is it far from me? I have a feeling that you're going down to Tennessee. She's driving down the interstate, listen to the radio play all day, but what she doesn't know, my song's coming on next. It's a song I wrote about our love, a song I wrote all about us and how we were meant to be. But damn, I was wrong. Baby, please don't come back to me. I wanna find someone who'd rather put up a fight than leave. And I don't know where you're going. Is it far from me? And I have a feeling that you're going to Tennessee. When you walk down Broadway, I hope you hear all night long in your ear all the girls singing the covers to my dance songs. When you stepped in a bar, I hope you see on the wall pictures of me promoting all my shows in your damn town. And it was clear to see you were over me, and I knew you'd go to Tennessee without me. Baby, please don't come back to me. I wanna write a few more songs beneath this big old tree, and I don't know where you're going. Is it far from me? I had this feeling that you went down to Tennessee.
Wow, that was the Leatherworn Whiskey Seasoned voice of Chris Shelby. Awesome song.
Thank you.
Is that from a personal experience?
Uh, so that's got a cool story to it. When I really early in my songwriting career, which it's still early, but I was just going through a breakup. The main reason why I actually picked up a guitar and started learning music was because I had gone through a breakup, and I was with this lady for 7 years, and so it was pretty tough. It's you're trying to figure out your life without that person now, and I didn't know what to do. I was bored, so I had an old guitar sitting in the house, and I just picked it up and started playing, started writing music. And obviously, when you're writing, it comes from the heart. It comes from your emotional experiences. And so I wrote a song. It's called "When I Die," and in the song, it says it's talking about going to Tennessee without me. And one of the lines is you won't go to Tennessee without me. And so I was in the studio, and we were cutting that song, and a buddy of mine who's a songwriter as well was in the studio, and he came up and said, "Hey man, got a great idea." And I'm in the middle of singing. I'm in the booth. I said, "Hey man, like what? This better be good because I'm in the booth singing. I'm in the middle of a song." He said, "What about a song where you broke up with this woman, she moves to Tennessee, you become this sensation of a musician, and she can't get rid of you. Everywhere she goes in Tennessee or anywhere she goes she's hearing you. She's seeing people cover your songs. She's seeing your posters all over the walls." And I was like, click.
Boom. What a great...
I went home that night. I wrote that song. I probably like 20 minutes. Obviously critiqued it along, within the few months of recording it and whatever. But it's not, it's not necessarily true, but it's the thought of, hey, like, yeah, wherever you're gonna go, good luck, because you're not gonna be able to get rid of me.
Right.
And it was just, the concept was unreal, and that's how I was feeling at the time. So it was, it was almost easy to write because that's how I was feeling. So that's the story behind that song. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite songs because it just holds close to the heart.
Is that the first one that you recorded?
No, that's probably like it was one of my first. It was like one of the first songs I really wrote. But as far as recording and like putting out music, I think it was like my third or fourth song that I recorded. Yeah. So yeah.
And you did talk about Tennessee. Did you get down to Nashville at all?
I went down to Nashville for the first time last month.
Awesome. And you came home? Why did you come home?
Yeah. Good
It's
question.
awesome.
It's a good question.
It's
man.
amazing, right?
Yeah. I had this conversation with Ben today, Ben Duran, and he said the same thing to me.
Yeah, another one of our wonderful guests, Ben Duran. Check him out also.
But he and I had a good conversation today, and we were talking about how, you go down there and you just fall in love with it. You don't want to leave. And I'll definitely be back there soon. I don't know if it'll be for good or not, but it definitely sucks you in. The community there, there's everything you need that is there, so.
You just got to find it.
That's right.
You know what's amazing about going down to Nashville, as for you or as a musician, is you would think you'd be intimidated because there's so much awesome talent. Like, it's all awesome. Every corner has a 3 musicians playing at one time on different levels. But it probably makes you up the ante and say, you know what? If that guy can do that, I can do that too.
Yeah.
But better. So it kind of...
For sure. And it's also the opposite too, man. It, there's so much talent in Nashville. It's so saturated with talent. And like you said, everywhere you go, there's just insane talent. And, you also start, you're obviously thinking, all right, if he can do it and he can get up there and sing like that, then I can do it, And that's another reason why I started doing music, is because I saw other people doing it. And I said, hey, if you could do it, I could do it, Right. And, but I mean, we're talking Nashville, man. We're talking next level. That's the pros. So you almost sometimes, and I've heard this from a lot of people, I've heard stories of where people go down there and they get discouraged because it's so good. And it's hard. It's so hard to make it. But, you have a shot, and it's whether or not you can make it and take it, and take that shot and really run with it when you're down there. And so it can be a little discouraging seeing people that are really good, because you think, oh, if I'm going to come down here, like, I'm not as good as that, so why am I trying, and I know a lot of people do that. They go down there and then they go, it's just too hard because all these people are better than me, and they get discouraged. But I don't think you shouldn't have that mindset. You should have like, hey, you know what? I'm me, they're them, and I'm going to be unique to me and find what's unique about me and express that just like they are. And, so.
It's weeding out the weak, really, in the ones that maybe don't have the confidence in themselves to do what they really thought that they wanted to.
Yeah. It's
chase.
a mindset for sure, you just got to be strong about it and really chase your passion. You got to know that that's what you're getting into. Yeah,
I think any part of the music industry, you got to expect the door to close in your face anyways, a bunch of times.
A lot of no's. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've pitched myself, been pitched by agents for shows, for opening acts for national shows. I mean, I've gotten more no's than I have yeses, for sure, by far. And you have to take that and learn from that and know that that's part of the industry. That's part of life, is you're going to get shut down. You're going to, the door's going to close in your face. But it's you to figure out, all right, well, where's the other door that's going to open? Or what key goes to this lock? You got to find it. You got to figure it out. And it's there. It's just a matter of like knowing where to look. So that's life in general, though, too.
That's true. That is true. So you've mentioned a few times, or a couple of times, about opening up for national acts. Can we name drop a little bit? Who have you opened up for?
Yeah. So I've done a couple radio shows with Josh Ross. Great guy. I can't speak enough about him. He is just all around such a really good dude. I've done some radio shows with Dylan Marlowe as well. I played the side stage for Brett Young down at Indian Ranch, which was really cool. I wouldn't say that's opening for him, but I played before him, so that was really cool to be in that experience. Actually, I'm going on a run this week with this band called The Lax. They're from Georgia. They're from Atlanta, Georgia area. And I opened up for them last year because of a gentleman named Colin Stowe. He was on American Idol. He couldn't make it. He backed out last second, couldn't make it to a show out in Worcester here. And they asked me if I wanted to take his spot and open for them, which I did. Became good friends with them, with their band members and everything. And they invited me now this year to play a couple shows with them up in New Hampshire and in Massachusetts. Wow. So I'm doing that with them this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. So there's some really cool people that I've met along this journey, this short journey so far, but I'm really looking forward to really getting out there and doing some more shows with other acts, and even just my friends, man. Like, it doesn't even matter if they're a national act or if they're big. Just to share the stage with people that I consider my friends is also an honor as well.
Right. Well, if you're having fun and you're touching someone's life, it's worth it right there. And then, the pay comes later.
For sure.
Awesome. That's great. Do you want to play us another song?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So this song is my latest release. It's a little rocky, gets a little loud, but it's called The One That Got Away. That's pretty self-explanatory.
All right, Chris Shelby, The One That Got Away.
Was in a ghost town of Mississippi when I saw her standing there, staring at me with those big blue eyes and twirling her bleached blonde hair. It was something I'd never been through. It was something I'd never seen. I said, why don't you come right here and move that bar stool next to me? She said, hey, I gotta go. I'll see you another day. That's just when a memory of me, it started to fade. away, the one that got away. It was a sunny day down on Broadway, and look who's walking past. I swear I've seen that face before, those eyes they cut through glass. I said, hey, how you doing? She said, hey, honey, where you been? She pointed at the man right next to her and said, buddy, I've been with him. Now, honey, I'm on the run, and I'm running right after you. Yeah, I'm ready like a loaded gun. There ain't nothing that I wouldn't do. And I try so hard to face my fears. I'm praying I'll be with you, my dear. I hope someday I won't get the chance to say you're the one that got away. The one that got away. Now, honey, I'm on the run, and I'm running right after you. Yeah, I'm ready like a loaded gun. There ain't nothing that I wouldn't do. And I try so hard to face my fears. I'm praying I'll be with you, my dear. I hope someday I won't get the chance to say you're the one that got away. The one that got away. You're the one that got away. You're the one that got away.
Wow. She got away.
She got away.
Wow.
That's it.
Chris Shelby. So you can find out where Chris is going to be playing and all kinds of information about him if you go to his Instagram at Chris Shelby Music. And he's in the process of upping his website, so that's going to be dropping soon.
That's gonna be
And
dropping soon, yeah.
a good but bad thing is you sold out of all your swag, so you had to order more, which is a good thing. So when the swag is back in, it will be up on his website, and you'll be able to buy some swag and support Chris's endeavors.
Awesome.
Awesome. So, Chris, you and I have been going back and forth, texting and all that. I never met you in person. So I was looking at my watch, and I said, I don't want Chris to, walk into the studio. Where am I going? So I met him out front, and I saw this car go by, and I was like, whoa. And I used to have a car very similar. I had a 66 Mustang Fastback that was owned by Pat Badger from Extreme. And this was the same car, but a new version, same color and everything. And I was like, this is the dude. So I walked out there and I was like, no way, man, and we hit it off right away. But I found out some interesting stuff about you. So let's not talk about music for a minute. Tell me about your connection with the Shelby Mustang in the Shelby industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So my father is very, very into Shelby Cobras, Shelby Mustangs, and all the above. And he's also very, very into ancestry, family ancestry. So I think he's got a book somewhere that has literally the whole family tree, who we're related to. I'm talking, we're going back to the Mayflower. And so it's pretty in depth. And a name on that tree is Mr. Carroll Shelby.
Wow.
Which is very crazy. Not close enough where we can get free stuff, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, so he's a distant relative of ours. And my dad's family is from going way back in Mississippi. And also, I believe we have some relatives that were from Tennessee as well, the Nashes, which is pretty interesting. So the Carol Shelby was from, I believe, either Kentucky or Tennessee. I can't believe,
I'm not sure.
Don't quote me on that. But he was from down south. He was from one of those states. And, my dad was always thinking, hey, like, I wonder if we're related to him. And he figured it out, and we are.
Wow.
And so it's pretty crazy. Growing up, we've had die-cast models in the car, in the house of Mustangs and Shelby Cobras and stuff like that. That's actually my father's car. Sorry, Dad, I drive it way more than he does because it was his bucket list, car to have. And I break its legs for him, and so I take it on drives. We take it on drives together,
Nice.
And so trying to convince him right now to trade it in and get a Cobra because that's his dream. His dream car is a 427 or Shelby Cobra, same color blue,
Yeah.
with white stripes, and that's kind of tying it into music a little bit. I always told him that if I ever make it and I get a big check, he's going to see a Shelby Cobra in his driveway.
So it's funny, when we started talking, the Shelby car came into my mind with you. I'm like, I wonder if that's like a stage name and if it was related to that. But then come to find out, it's your real name, Chris Shelby.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Growing up was really cool because I'm going to say it's cool, but it was very, a lot of humor around it because we're talking middle school, so I wouldn't call it dating. It was, girlfriend, boyfriend deal. I was talking to this girl, her name was Shelby. And if she's seeing this, she'll find it funny because they, all growing up, our whole middle school, it was, hey, if you guys ever got married, your name would be Shelby. And it's like, well, it's not really how that works. But, yes, for sure. Like, yeah, that could be a possibility. And so, there was a long-standing joke growing up was, hey, if you ever married a girl named Shelby,
Could be Shelby.
And a lot of people that I know are named Shelby. They're named after the Mustang. So it's pretty interesting. I tell people that I'm related to him. I kind of give it a little while before it comes out. If say you're so interested in it, I'd tell you think that's really cool. A lot of people don't believe me, which is fun, which is whatever. I don't care. But it's interesting. It's a good conversation starter,
Awesome. Have you written any car songs?
Not about Shelby Mustangs or anything or Cobras or anything like that. I have personally a 1965 C10 pickup truck. I did write a song about that, but then it turned into it's all my songs were going back into, hey, how is this a love song, So I tied in my truck in that song a little bit, but yeah, I did.
Fantastic.
That song's called "Ain't the Same," by the way. It's out there.
So people can go to any and all platforms, am I correct?
Yeah.
And download your music.
Correct, yeah.
So iTunes, everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of streaming platforms. I didn't know about this when I started working with the distribution companies. I didn't realize how many streaming platforms there were. And I think the biggest ones are, I'm still not even sure what it is. It's called Shazam. You Shazam songs. But the top platforms that I see are iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify's probably the biggest one. They have Shazam, and then just crazy off-name streaming companies you never even heard of. But there's so many, and caught me way off guard when I started doing that because I didn't know. No idea.
So each and every one of our listeners or viewers has a streaming platform that they use. So check out Chris Shelby, and if we download 25,000, you get $1.75.
Yeah, maybe less.
Yeah. It's crazy. People think that you're a musician out there living a dream, filling up rooms, that you go home with boatloads of money, but especially these streaming companies, you get fractions of a penny for every download.
It's it is what it is. It's a business, so you're gonna have to expect that at some point. But ads is where I've made the most money on my music on as far as streaming. YouTube is really where on my music videos when they have played ads in the videos. that's where I've seen the most money come from, and I'm not talking a lot of money. We're maybe talking enough money to buy a guitar, and it's not a lot of money. So you put all this effort and energy and work into you making your music, and you're doing it because you love it, and that's what needs to keep you sane about it, and you just need to love doing it. That's what matters, because you're not making serious money unless you're getting serious streams, and we're talking millions, So,
and that's far and few between.
Right.
But if you don't try, it's not going to happen.
Yep, it's not going to happen.
So like those people in Nashville that packed their bags and went back to wherever, it's probably not going to happen for them.
If that's the way they wanted to, if that's how people feel, and that's how if they want to move on, all to them. It also takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of courage to pack up and say, what, this isn't for me. So I respect that as well. But it's definitely, if you like money, don't count on it, a lot of it, if you're really starting out in the music industry, because you really got to work your butt off to get it.
Yeah, the more money, the more problems, all right?
That's right.
That's what they.
Yeah,
that's what they say. I don't know. That's why I don't have any
Yeah,
problems.
yeah.
So there are a lot of things you can do with music. You can get into advertisements and music for soundtracks and touring and all that. What is your end goal? What do you really want to do with your music? What is your...
Yeah. So I'd love to tour. Touring would be awesome. I think any musician would love to go on a tour. But I've also looked into Sync. You ever heard of Sync? Sync is.
Yes.
Sync is like a platform, a distribution platform, or whatever. I can't really. Don't quote me on that. I don't think it's completely accurate, but it's where you get like your music in like movies and commercials and all and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would kind of be cool to go to a movie.
Yeah, I've really thought about that recently. It's a separate avenue to go down, but you don't have to really steer away from your creativity because you're actually you're told to be creative. They'll give you something to write about or say, hey, we need a song for this movie, and it's like, all right. Like for a great example is the movie Twisters, where Lainey Wilson wrote a song for it. Luke Combs, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, that was written for the movie Twisters.
Wow.
So prime example of a sync platform and how it can really be beneficial to any musician. I know a female artist that's local around here, and she does it, and she's created a lot of exposure and a lot of fans based off of her streaming of movies and shows. So it goes a long way. It's something I've thought about. Now, if we're talking long-term goal and where do I see myself going in the long term, it would just to still create music and be creative and write music with other people and see where my music can go, honestly. And if it turns into me writing a song and someone else cuts it, that's a possibility. There's so many different avenues that I don't think you plan for. I think they happen, and that's the way you tend to go to.
Yeah, the navigation.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's cool. That's a great outlook. So before we close up the show, I think our viewers and listeners would love to hear one more song if you have it in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's hear Chris Shelby with one more song before we say goodbye to him.
Yeah, I'll play songs called Gone in the Wind. This song is my next release, so you guys are getting a little bit of a taste here.
How special is this?
How special, yeah.
Right here on Musicians and Beyond. So make sure you follow Chris and Musicians and Beyond on all your social media platforms, please. And here is Chris Shelby.
Yeah, I've been through earthquakes, but you're the one that made my world shake. Yeah, I've been through rough times, twisted lies, but I can make you smile on your worst day. I didn't have what it takes, and it made you run away. But now I'm sitting here seeing you happy Yeah, I made some mistakes, but you're the one that made my heart break. Yeah, I'm praying all the damn time, walking that thin line once again. Yeah, I know what it takes to have you love me every single day. But it's too late, I'm sitting here watching you walk the other way. And 'cause you're gone in a wind, and you're smiling once again. If I told you I was doing just fine, you know I'd be lying every time. Yeah, I'd go through hell again just to wind up with you in the end. 'Cause it's heartache and mistake that's making you walk the other way. I knew that one day my world would shake. And 'cause you're gone in a wind, and you're smiling once again. If I told you I was doing just fine, you know I'd be lying every time. Yeah, I'd go through hell again just to wind up with you in the end. Yeah, I'd go through hell again just to wind up with you in the end.
Wow. Chris Shelby, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank WinCam Studios, Dane and Maeve, who are doing everything they can to make me sound good. You sound good on your own, trying to make me look good. They're awesome behind the cameras, in the soundboards. Follow Chris Shelby at Chris Shelby Music. Follow Musicians and Beyond. Download his music and support him. And we like to think that our guests come in as an acquaintance and leave as a friend. So, Chris, I want to thank you for coming in and being our friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And can we put this camera on for 1 second? And Chris, guess what? I got the keys to the Shelby.